All right. So I am here with Zach Dole. So just tell us about yourself, where you're from, what you're about.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I guess I can start where everything happened, right? Everything got started. I was born in Sacramento, California, so capital California. It's a pretty rough place. It's nothing too crazy. It's got a lot of hardworking people, a lot of people that believe in themselves. There's a lot of beautiful things out there. It's a beautiful city, but I like to tell the Austinites, especially when we're talking to Texas people, that I'm from here because I moved here at a young age. So
how old?
I probably moved here when I was like 6 years old.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it was I remember the city a little bit, and I always visit it, but that's where everything got started. So I'm from Sacktown. Anyways, little bit of background about me. I'm adopted, so I got adopted at birth.
That's a unique experience.
Yeah, it is a really unique experience. My biological family obviously was, also in California and Sacramento, but they just, they couldn't afford to take care of their children, whatever was going on at that time. I was too young to understand, obviously. But,
right.
Luckily, by the grace of God, I was able to be adopting by, a loving family, a beautiful family. And
that's very lucky.
Yeah, super lucky. I'm very thankful. It's like, when you ask, what's a little bit about me, it's like that's something that's about me that really motivates me.
So would you say that you almost were protected in a way? I mean, there's a lot of kids who end up in foster.
No, 100%.
That.
Yeah. I honestly, I do believe in God, and I do believe things happen for a reason.
Me too.
I'm a very firm believer in just how the way that the world works. I feel like there's just a higher power above us that's kind of making the decisions that ultimately we can't choose to make. And, it's not my place to really tell you that or answer that. I'm just thankful that I'm here. Because you're right, there are plenty of other children that honestly deserve that opportunity just as much as I did.
Right.
And that's why I'm so thankful for that. Because going back to where we were, my family's from San Francisco, so that's where my little brother was born. But anyways, so I was around California for a little bit, but my dad ended up getting a job at UT, and so that's why we moved to Austin when I was younger. So he was working for the school, and I don't, like I said, I don't remember a ton of things that were going on back then in California when I was younger. So I like to just tell people that I'm from Austin because that's really where home is for me.
Right. Yeah. Me too. I would say the same, even though I've moved around. But,
100%.
So do you think that your younger self would be proud of who you are today? Whether it be, dreams you had from when you were very little to your teenage years.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think yes, and I think my younger self would also be humbled to see where I am, proud and humbled. Because I feel proud in the sense that my character, what I'm aspiring to be, and being motivated and the type of person that I am today. Right. Proud, but also humbled in the sense that I'm not this big thing. I'm not bigger than the world. I feel like when you're a kid, it's kind of hard. You have very wide-eyed view of the world, and you kind of expect the world to kind of just be at your fingertips, and it's just very humbling. It's a humbling experience that life has put me through to kind of be where I'm at, and so I feel like proud and humbled.
So I guess I could say, what ways have you been humbled?
Man, a lot of different ways, honestly. Just for example, growing up and having to move, right? Because we kind of started from where I'm from, but just being a kid coming to Austin, Texas, and at the time, I went to Hill Elementary School, and Hill, yeah, okay. And that's a beautiful place, and I love the people there for sure. But I definitely
Which one was Hill? That one was the one that was right by Murkison.
Yeah.
There was a movie
by Anderson.
Oh, right by Anderson. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right by Anderson. But I think you meant to say that though.
No.
Or maybe you were
there's
thinking
not elementary at the top of the hill.
That's Dawes. That's Dawes. You're right.
Okay,
that's right by Murkison.
Okay. There's a ton of elementaries, but anyways.
Yeah, never mind.
You went to Hill.
Yeah, I went to Hill.
In the hills.
Yeah, in the hills, and it was crazy because it was just a culture shock. Like, I don't really think people were really like, oh, like, you know, like, luckily I was around certain people that looked like me too. I think I had, like, you know, a couple people that were like, and like, man, this dude's cool because he just like looks like me. So in kindergarten, you know, first grade, second grade, it was like, you know, just trying to really fit in and figure out who I am. I think I really took a liking to sports at that time, so I was able to kind of build my, you know, move my way around that kind of environment and kind of build a name for myself in that regard. And that kind of creates like its own separate thing of friends and, you know, groups of people that I'm going to interact with that kind of help me, you know, build at that time. But I think kind of moving into like, you know, the Murkison days, like middle school, honestly, for me at that time period, what really, when you say humbled me, it was like my relationships. Like I didn't realize at like that time, like obviously I'm a child, but I didn't really understand like how emotionally, I guess, insecure I really was.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, when you're 14, 15 years old, like it's not like, you know, I try not to beat myself up about it being 23 now, if that makes sense. Cause like, you know, like I'm a kid, but I think in the time period that was really agitating me because I was like trying to go through that and be like, dang, like, why am I so like, why do things bother me so much? Or like, why do I care about things in this way, you know? But I think kind of as I've grown up, I've realized like that's, when I say humbled, like that's something that like kind of makes me who I am today. I think I approach certain things in my life with that reminder of like, hey, you have to be emotionally strong. You have to be like mentally stable in certain stressful periods. Cause like when I was a kid, I couldn't always do a good job of controlling that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, you know, in middle school, kind of in high school, that's kind of what I was going through at that time.
Yeah, and I know the dynamic in Northwest Austin is very different from the rest of the entire world. And I saw the culture shock myself when I moved to Austin. But from your experience, what was it like growing up in a neighborhood where nobody looked like you, really, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it kind of put me in like a lone wolf mentality type of thing. But I also
well, your family's white.
Yeah.
You know, that's an important factor as well.
Yeah, for sure. But it's funny you bring that up because like obviously I don't see it that way because it's like just my family. You know, it's like talking about your family. Like you're not gonna be like, oh, but like people do see it that way.
Right.
But I think for me, it's like you said, it you know, like I was saying earlier, it just like kind of pushed me away from certain environments that like, you know, maybe I should have been in, but I'm also glad I wasn't. Like there was a reason for that.
Right.
I think like when I would go home and go on the bus and kind of see like, oh, like nobody really looks like me, whatever, I think it would just put me in a mentality of like trying to like defense and like trying to put up like a guard on myself. But I think that also kept me out of trouble in certain things that I shouldn't have been doing. But like I said earlier, I'm also thankful like because like I was around certain environments where like people did look like me, like and like I'm thankful for that, like because that's still in me today, like I, you know, and that'll never leave me for sure.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to transition into the main topic, so how do you think, you know, the way you grew up, your values have interfered what you do today in your business? So if you want to talk a little about your business and how that whatever young inspiration you had.
Yeah,
you know?
I love
because we're still young too.
Yeah, I love that question. I'll start with kind of the standard that ATownDown upholds ourselves to. So the people that are in ATownDown, like this is the standard when you talk about the things that motivate me, you know, what are the values and kind of the beliefs that are surrounding that idea, because like you said, it's still young. First of all, like I think commitment, you know, consistency, a couple C words. I think, you know, consistency in the sense of like being resilient and showing up kind of no matter what. I think even us doing this interview is kind of an example of that. Like we have a set plan and we follow through on those things. Kind of being like a leader and being somebody that, you know, people can count on. That's what they do. They set plans, they set goals, and they follow through on them. And that's something that like people in ATownDown uphold themselves to. And then also just like being like selfless. Like I feel like you were just talking about it kind of before we hit the button, like the record button, but just like there's so much disconnect in like communities nowadays.
Right.
It's, whether it's male, female, right, black and white, like whatever. It can be whatever now, you know, because we live in such a colorful world.
I mean, the fake.
Yeah, you can speak to that, you know, and part of why I love ATownDown, like before we get into kind of what that is like, I think we just have a ton of selfless people, and like you know, I think I've grown up around. And I know you have too, just a lot of selfish people and selfish intentions.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned it, like I forgive all of those people because I was young at the time and we were kids. Like there's, you know, they have, you know, we were going through stuff. So it makes sense. But I also just, you know, that also kind of always is like spinning in my head because like I want to make sure that the types of, you know, values and beliefs that we have in our company is like, those are the ones that we also uphold to our personal selves as well.
Oh, I love that. And so what is ATownDown, ATD? Like what kind of community group is it? What is the main goal, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, totally. You know, this is a great question. We're a creative agency. So, you know, I think it's tough because I feel like in this time period, when I was just like alluding to the community part, it's like that's what our main focus is like building an ecosystem for creators to have support, actual like you know, like just like support, but like actual like a platform and structure to be able to help them achieve their personal and creative goals. Like I said, you know, earlier, like there's not actual infrastructure for people to be able to like get their, you know, creations out there. And I feel like, you know, that was kind of like the lacking part in the market where, you know, when we talk about product market fit kind of in Austin, there's not really a place where creatives can go and actually have one-on-one conversations that are valuable, have money put behind them to help them grow and like grow their own business, like support them through ads and like make them merchandise and things like that. And so I felt like, you know, we could attack kind of the marketplace in that manner, but we're trying to build the infrastructure to be a full-on creative agency. So have, you know, a record label, right? Have like a production company. So have like actual like videos and like, you know, behind the scenes things that happen with like I was telling you with like the camera equipment that we have, stuff like that. Right. So there's like a lot of different avenues that we can go. But early on, you know, I think through some of the digital tokens and the actual tokens, like the merchandise and like, you know, stuff like that, I think is going to help kind of build the brand forward and move it towards that goal.
So it seems like you are big on bringing people together. Yeah.
And I think bringing like the right people together.
Right.
Because like when I bring up like when I bring up the product market fit, it's like very, I feel like nowadays, like it's not organized. Like it's kind of just a bunch of different people in a bunch of different pots. And I think while that's beautiful, I think there does need to be, again, like the infrastructure, the organization, the actual backing behind these people that you're trying to support, because that's actually how they grow. You know, I think doing events is great. I think, you know, having those opportunities is lovely. But, you know, in spite of that, you know, you should also be having, you know, one-on-one behind the scenes conversations with them, checking in with them, making sure they're okay, making sure they feel like they're a part of an actual community and like they bring value. Because like, you know, I've noticed kind of around Austin, it's just kind of, you know, there's certain events going on, but it's not like actually cohesive.
Right. No, I totally understand what you're getting at from firsthand experience. Hold on. So, ATownDown means Austin, clearly. So why Austin? I mean, obviously you're from here and also California as well, but why, where does Austin live in your heart?
Yeah. It obviously has personal connection to me. But I think more importantly, it's about us. I think it has personal connection like to us as a community. The people that are within ATownDown are like predominantly have done something in Austin. we're all from different parts of the world. That's fine. But, we've kind of been able to make like a creative home here and build our own communities respectively and, build our own network here. And I think the A-Town comes from that because I think it's more than just about me and it having like a personal connection to me. But as like the companies being built out, clearly we have roots to Austin, and then like the people that make up ATownDown are from here as well.
Right.
So it just correlates perfectly.
They don't have to be.
They don't have to be.
Okay. Yeah.
I think like that's when you start something, it's started as it is, but as it grows and becomes something new, I think people will be able to link onto that as they see fit. Right. It's not like it's not up for me to decide, and I think that's beautiful. But
and Austin has become home to a lot of so-called transplants, is what people call them. But I think it's just become a second home for a lot of people. And I feel like despite any political view or economic view or opinion, it's about community and bringing people together. And as Austinites ourselves, we have to be the ones to keep Austin. Right. And I feel like this is how you're doing it in your own way. Yeah,
and kind of to allude to your point, I think being inclusive of other people in that journey is important to me. With the name though, I think it's kind of has that shock value, and it is personal to us and endear to us. So yeah, I think that matters. But are you gonna ask me about the down part, huh?
If you want to add.
No, yeah.
I actually wasn't, but that's an important factor.
Yeah, no. What I was like contemplating kind of before we got on was just like things are going down here. I remember like when we were kind of thinking about it, it was like there's so many opportunities in Austin, not just for creatives, but for people in general. Any individual that's looking for a new life, new opportunity, right? Like it can go down here in Austin. Kind of when you were alluding to, there's transplants, but
a lot of people that I've met are like, I started a new life and moved here.
Yeah.
And even people have lived here for 10 years have said the same thing. I was just talking to a guy that I played league with last night, and he said that he moved here from Jersey 10 years ago, and he moved here for a new life.
So kind of to your point, like it's more than just about the creatives in that sense. I think the name has value that goes beyond just like a creative aspect. But I do think that like things are going down here. People are making new lives. They're changing what their ideals, their beliefs, and it's beautiful to see. So it's definitely an amazing name. It's like so. Yeah, it's just amazing to me because I hold it so close to my heart. But yeah, that's kind of that's what it means.
I mean, it's the place you grew up, you know. And I always have had a special place in my heart for Austin. And at a young age, I knew that it was gonna become a very popular place. I just didn't know what extent that was how it would influence my day-to-day life in the future.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, I think.
Right. So. Tell me about the people at ATownDown. I know some, not all of them, but most of them, I'd say. And these are people that, because me and you went to high school together, these are also people that we have gone to high school together, just to add. So tell me how these people that you associate with inspire you.
Good question. So I think to start is like I don't really have people in my life that like don't inspire me.
That is so cool. I love that answer. Give me a high five. That's such a good answer.
I just like I don't know. Like I feel like it's kind of why are you around somebody unless they're not challenging kind of what you believe in and the things that you want to achieve. But kind of like talking specifically about the group. I think they inspire me in a bunch of different ways. So mainly I think it's creatively and also like I guess like in entrepreneurship, like I've never done this journey before and trying to build a company, so like I don't really know what I'm doing. All the input and like feedback that I'm getting is like all in real time, and I think it's from people who I believe in what they're trying to achieve too. And they can see that in me, and like they're putting their trust in me to like kind of lead the way, and I think that's beautiful. You know,
so you like being a leader?
I love being a leader, but I think it's, you know, that's, you know, it's funny you asked that. I think that role isn't like chosen like by somebody. I think it's kind of chosen by the situation. It's not like, oh, you're a leader because you say you are. It's kind of like you have to like prove that value to other people. But yeah, no, I don't have anybody in my life that doesn't inspire me. You know, my family, the way that they inspire me, I think is, you know, this is like separate from the group, but they inspire me to like give back and be selfless. Like again, like kind of being adopted, it's made me want to adopt a child on my own, and like,
oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, and like give an opportunity. No, but seriously, like give an opportunity to a child that wouldn't otherwise have it, right? And I see that every day in my interactions, and that's kind of like, honestly, that's a part of ATownDown too, because it's me. So yeah, that's honestly super inspiring to me every day, because that definitely,
that inspired me.
Yeah,
that answer.
I'm glad.
So, well, thank you. You know, so what long-term goals do you have for ATownDown, and I guess, you know, your own self and your own personal life? Yeah.
Not to like, give away too many things, right?
Yeah, no, you don't want to tell the world your plans before you do them, right?
Right. But I think, for starters, to start off with ATownDown, I think it's really important that we establish ourselves as like one of the leading creative ecosystems in Austin. And what I mean by that is having people know our name when we go somewhere, when we do an event, when we're promoting, when we're doing our ads on social media, when we put out a YouTube video, you know, when we do an interview, right? Like people know about that. They know things are going down, right? I think that's for starters. You know, second is like real funding. You know, like I think it's crazy because we've all been doing this with jobs, right? You were just talking to me about yours off this, but like, there's, you know, we're still working jobs and still trying to be, you know, actively creative too, and I think that's beautiful, but it makes it really tough in terms of like trying to get around and make, you know, get things done for the business, because we do have to bootstrap it, and like that does take a lot of energy out of me, not only me, but just other people too as well, because it's not just my money and my energy,
and you know, I want to add that time and day that we're living in is, or age, I guess I should say, is not the easiest time to live in right now, and to be, you know, in a world with such pain and suffering, you know, and to still be able to, you know, bring people together, hold on to that idea of community, and, you know, be creative in the process, shows a lot of strength, you know. I
have this saying, it's like, come as you are, but leave better than you were, you know. So it's like, wherever we are, we're gonna make sure that we're the, you know, best possible version of ourselves. But another goal for ours is get a creative space, so have a building in Austin. That would be that would make me probably cry, but I think that would give like people like you just a free place and another place to just be able to go and hang out and be a part of a community.
It's possible. It's 100% possible.
It's 100% possible. And then honestly, like lastly, this is just like a company goal, is like we want to have an event, a yearly event that people go to every single year, and they know that like it's ATownDown artists, it's the ATownDown community, it's the people we're supporting in their journey, and they want to support that. I would love to have just like an actual renowned event in Austin that people consistently can go to, you know, once or twice a year. That would be super cool, and keep it kind of, you know, not to say that we don't want to include the entire creative community, but keep it specific to ATownDown people.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying. That sounds really fun, honestly.
Right.
And I'm already sitting here envisioning it in my own head of what I feel like it could look like.
Right.
So
I guess I didn't answer the personal goals, but
no, it's okay because the following question really feeds into it anyways. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Your personal goals, yourself in 2030, I guess. That's freaking crazy to say.
Thankfully, I'll still be in my 20s. Gosh.
Okay, well, we'll be knocking on the door.
This is when I read this answer, this question before, I thought this was a lovely question. But for starters, I want a family. For me, like, my dream is just to have a family that I can call mine. And I think people, I don't want to speak for people I don't know. I can only speak through like my own experience and the world I've seen. But I think sometimes people can take for granted being able to look in their parents' eyes and like see where they come from. And over the next 5 years, like, me and my girlfriend, like my future wife, like, I want to make sure that I can give her the family that we deserve. And like have a child of our own and have the stability to do that. Like, it's about the money, but I think it's also about the relationships that you have around that. Like,
well, what does your shirt say? Or your jacket? What does your jacket say right now?
The relationships are worth more than money. But for example, like knowing you, even like I have a baby, like emergency happens, like I know I could call on you, like you've got my back. And like that's what I mean. Like that has nothing to do with money. And that's kind of what I mean. It's like there's other stability things that you have to think about. It's not just about finances, but that's a really top personal goal of mine. And then I think also just being like the best version of myself that I can be. And like I know everybody says that, but what I mean by that is like being physically fit, being mentally fit, being a selfless version of myself, like correcting my mistakes and trying to fix them. Because I think being resilient and not being afraid to make mistakes is great, but like when you do, like trying to fix them, not being afraid to like work on yourself.
And I will say from experience, not being so hard on oneself, because that's something I struggle with as well. It's just, when you fall off the bike, are you gonna like be pissed off about it, or are you just gonna like get back on and keep pushing forward? So
no, exactly. I think that I'll steal that one from you.
It's okay. I stole it from somebody else.
No, don't worry.
Nobody definitely is the true owner of anything, I think.
Definitely be less harder on myself. Just as like this has, like I've lost like just a lot in this already. So I've gained so much more, but I think it can be draining sometimes. But I think just like that's like the most important thing is the present and then the future, right? Like we can only go forward and we can only focus on what's going on right now, but we can't go back.
Definitely, I would agree. So is there anything else you want to bring up or talk about or go back and add more? There's a lot we covered, and this was a really good conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, no, I just like want to shout out like everybody that's a part of this.
Then do it. Say their names.
Yeah, I will. I just want to shout out my family too, but obviously Abby, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you.
Like seriously, the last 2 years have been like hard for us. I think trying to get certain things organized, and like you have shown true belief in me and like letting me be a part of your journey and like trusting that I kind of know what I'm doing, even though sometimes I don't, and just kind of again following my lead and like again like setting up Google Workspace and like being engaged and like trying to be on Jira and like doing these meetings and stuff like that. Like
sorry for
go ahead.
For me,
what is it?
When I believe in potential, like I can see somebody and even I see that they don't really know what they're doing or don't really know exactly which path to take. I'm still going to believe in them regardless. You know, I've seen people make
it's blind
huge
belief.
come-ups real
Right.
quick,
Right.
you know, and who were not unsure, you know. So I don't know. I feel like for me, I don't want to talk too much about myself.
I love that. No, I love hearing your perspective because it is about you right now. That's why I like spoke to you though.
Right. So,
before I get to the other names because they aren't here.
Right. That's
you can answer
true.
for yourself.
Yeah, that is.
So please do.
That is accurate. For me, something I do have to watch though is putting putting more belief in others than I do for myself.
Right.
And that's something that I have struggled with a lot, that I am currently in the process of working through, and I have seen improvement.
That. I love that.
But it's hard to even have people want to see the aftermath. They don't really see the stuff behind the doors, the hardships, the day-to-day life, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. I forgot where my train of thought was going, but yeah, just going back to the self.
The blind belief.
Yeah, going back to yourself, even though, we all want to support each other. At the end of the day, before we do that, we have to support ourselves.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like she said, I'll name my other lovely people. Maximo, I love you.
Oh, appreciate shout out Maximo.
Yeah, he's dope.
He's so
keep
cool.
doing you. Tavian, I love you too. Sias, obviously my brother, love you. Anomaly Ford, Sebastian and Sam, I appreciate you guys for sticking around. We literally can't do this without you. Jennings, I appreciate you. Jennings. Yeah. Jennings, I appreciate you. Mason, my dog, I appreciate you, bro. You've been through it all with me, so you know what that is. Obviously, you don't know this person, but we got a new executive assistant, and her name is Taylor. So Taylor, I appreciate you.
Shout out Tay.
Yeah. Shout out Taylor.
She's like, don't call me that.
Obviously, she's new, but she's a lovely new addition. Shout out Los. I love you, dog. I appreciate you for sticking through all this BS with me. Obviously, it's been tough, but I think things are looking up for sure. Bianca, I appreciate you for snapping every single photo of us.
I met Bianca.
Yeah.
TV.
Amazing.
TV
She's
event.
amazing. She's lovely. So I appreciate you, and I'm praying for you right now. So just know that. James, come on, bro.
James, I love James.
James, I'm not gonna ever forget about you either, bro. You my dog since kindergarten. Words don't even need to be spoken at this point. I think.
I love that.
Yeah, he's completely. He's done it all. He's done it all.
I think I just really want to show more appreciation to James because.
Yeah.
Aw, now I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
I love James, and I think that.
Me too.
Seeing like how much he has touched other people is so inspiring. Like everybody loves James.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know a damn soul that has anything bad to say about James.
Not at all. No, that's exactly. She took the words right out of my mouth. You are an angel. So, we need those. We need more angels in this world for sure. 100%. She's spot on with that. So I appreciate you, James. But that's unfortunately with how the world spins, like we've lost some people along the way, but those are the people that are currently trying to make it happen with us. So I'm
an emotional person. If you can't tell.
It's okay.
No, and I love that about myself. I love that I can sit here and cry and be okay with it, and it shows my authentic love for people. Like, my love for people is powerful.
You almost got me.
I did on the inside.
Definitely, you almost got me. I'm like,
yeah. Well, you've known him longer than I've known him.
Oh man,
obviously.
I am, like I said, he's an angel, bro.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
I don't know how else to put it. But I'm just so thankful for like there's a lot more people than just me. Obviously, Abby, like you were saying, like the belief system is just like crazy. So I'm just like super thankful, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. Well, yay, this was such a good conversation. I'm so thankful for your time and doing this with me. I'm really, really happy with the results, and I just how this conversation went. It was perfect.
Yeah, I was like, I was sliding my hoodie across the table earlier.
Oh,
but
don't even.
I think
it's fine.
It just really impactful.
I always, regardless of how any of my interviews or connections have gone, it's about the experience itself. It's not about the result or whether or not other people are happy with hearing it. I care about the conversation itself more than anything.
Right. No, yeah. But it's the relationship part, right? Mm-hmm. Like whether the camera's on, off, doesn't matter. It's just about the actual being present and being with the person. So
high five.
I appreciate this, Abby. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate the person and the creative that you are, and I'm extremely grateful and thankful to know you.
All right. Me too. I'm thankful to know you as well. All right. Well, if anybody, bye. If anybody's gotten this far, we thank you for sticking around.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Deuces.